7 months ago, Donald Trump's hand-picked Attorney General PAM BONDI went on to Fox News and made perhaps the largest admission or error of this administration yet by saying the Epstein files are sitting on my desk right here now. Over the past few months, that has re-sparked the Epstein controversy, placing Donald Trump and his administration cover-up directly at the center. Yesterday, Donald Trump then said in the Oval Office, Ghislaine Maxwell, I have not heard that name is so long, pretending like he barely even could recall who that was when we have clips of him 2 months ago being asked about Ghislaine Maxwell. So Pam Bondi went in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee today and got grilled on Epstein, which we will get to. She got grilled on the military mobilization into Chicago, Portland, and other cities, and her overall lack of competence as it pertains to this job. She even announces that Cash Patel is currently headed to Chicago, the city that I record and produce and live in. Cash Patel is coming here. What is he gonna do? He's gonna make matters even worse because he is a poser. Let's start with this clip of Attorney General Pam Bondi being called out of Senator Dick Durbin of the great state of Illinois. He asks if the White House has been coordinating with her, and when she personally attacks him, he says, "This is exactly what MAGA does. They just attack me."
Attorney General, let me ask you this question. Were you consulted by the White House before they deployed National Guard troops to cities in the United States?
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House.
You won't even say whether you talked to the White House about this?
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House with you, Ranking Member.
I noticed that. What's the secret? Why do you want to keep this secret? The American people don't know the rationale behind the deployment of National Guard troops in my state. The word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Been on this committee for more than 20 years. That's the kind of testimony you expect from this administration. A simple question as to whether or not they had a legal rationale for deploying National Guard troops becomes grounds for a personal attack. I think it's a legitimate question. It's my responsibility. She refuses to answer as to whether she had any conversation with the White House.
She got cooked right there, and here's the thing. When she is reading those personal attacks against Senator Durbin, she is reading them. Look at her. She is looking down and reading personal attacks that she had pre-written. I wish you love Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. She literally looked down and read that, meaning that she pre-wrote that, meaning that she went in there ready and equipped with insults. And that's the point that Senator Dick Durbin makes. Honestly, he probably had his points ready too, because Pam Bondi is so predictable. He knew she was gonna fling insults immediately. In this clip, you see Senator White House, a part of the Senate Judiciary Committee, asking Pam Bondi about the Epstein files, and she refuses to answer whether or not there are photos of Donald Trump and underage girls watch.
In public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me.
Oh, some photograph with Epstein. Is she admitting that the photograph exists here? I do not. Okay, so a few things. First of all, she immediately launches into the same thing that Senator Dick Durbin called her out for. She attacks Senator Whitehouse for asking a simple question. You can just deny the existence of the photo. Just deny it. Say no, it does not. Say what are you talking about? This does not exist. Instead, she's like, why are you grilling me about this photo? Seems like she's getting a real square mad. And the idea that she wants to flip Epstein attacks against any Democrats. You have no moral high ground. the President of the United States, you, by existence, Cash Patel, by existence, Don Bongino, I can keep going. You guys are all covering up pedophilia at the very least. At the very most, Donald Trump and his little handwritten notes to Jeffrey Epstein himself are indication of something deeper.
The FBI find those photographs that have been discussed publicly by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him. You don't know anything about that. Okay? Those photographs that have been discussed publicly by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him. You don't know anything about that. Okay?
Just silence about Epstein. Not a good look. And then PAM BONDI continues to get grilled on Epstein. Rightfully. So she's asked who was given the order to flag Trump's names in these files or these lists. Whatever you want to call them. There are documents and Trump's name was flagged by the FBI. The FBI sat Trump down and said, "Hey, your name is all throughout these files." And then someone must have told Elon Musk during his government tenure because a lot of this was re-sparked. If you remember, the catalyst was Elon Musk tweeting out Trump was in the Epstein files. But let's continue.
Read somebody that you mentioned I never heard of.
Reid Hoffman.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this. And you won't do it today, but eventually you will.
It's like talking to a black wall. There is no way to do this whatsoever. And you know, PAM BONDI is starting to look increasingly bad here. This has been going on for 2 to 3 hours at this point. And this tweet reads, PAM BONDI comes across as an effing lunatic here. Keeps interrupting to demand everyone bow down to Trump. Embarrassing. Let me show you this clip of Senator-in-Chief getting Bondi so flustered that she just starts blotting things out. Watch.
Investigations. You refused to answer that question. You were asked by my California colleague whether you believe government officials, like immigration officials, have to abide by court orders. You wouldn't even answer that question. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing.
Oversight?
Excuse me, you can attack me after my time is over.
You've attacked all of us, including President Trump, for your entire
You can attack me
career.
later, and I know you've got plenty of canned attacks. We've heard them all day to day.
Canned attacks on you?
This is supposed to be...
No one needs a canned attack on you.
Regular order, Madam Chair. I'm trying to speak. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing of the Justice Department. And it comes in the wake of an indictment called for by the President of one of his enemies. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing, and it comes in the wake of revelations that a top administration official took $50,000 in a bag, and this department made that investigation go away. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing when dozens of prosecutors have been fired simply because they worked on cases investigating the former president. This is, and now the current president.
What about the fires in California?
And
Do you
this
care
is
about that,
supposed to be,
senatorship?
this is supposed to be an oversight hearing in which members of Congress can get serious answers to serious questions about
Are the riots in LA serious?
About the cover-up of corruption, about the prosecution of the president's enemies. And
I think you owe the president an apology.
When will it be
Your entire
that
career,
the members of this committee on a bipartisan basis demand answers to those questions and refuse to accept
Clearly you're a
personal,
failed lawyer
refuse
because
to
you don't
accept,
understand when
excuse
someone
me,
can and cannot
refuse
answer
to
a
accept
question.
personal slander as an answer to those questions.
Personal.
Why does she keep interjecting and saying, what about Donald Trump? Well, you apologize to Donald Trump. All of these people operate as if Trump is watching it on TV, which I am sure he is, and breathing down their neck. They are all talking as if they do a phone call with Trump before going in. Then they do a phone call with Trump after coming out to make sure that they do a good job. And then they did a good job and make sure that he is happy with everything. They are just constantly defending him. That's the vibe I get. I am gonna leave it there. So if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a below heart in the comments, and until next time, I will see you soon.